Aleph Pei Gimel, Aleph Pei Gimel. Here we are. We are on. We are beginning, and we'll turn to Shalom Aleichem on page number 5 in the Siddur. So, good evening. We are beginning with the Shalom Aleichem on page number 5. We've got a couple of song sheets here as well. Sorry. Yeah, one of those. We're on page number 5, Shalom Aleichem. We'll begin in a moment, but just a thought. I was visiting somebody in the hospital today, and normally when I visit with people, first I just listen. And sometimes people feel like talking, sometimes people feel like praying. And when people ask for a prayer, I offer Mishaberach, and some are familiar with the Mishaberach. And we often begin with the Mishaberach, and then we ask what they wish to pray for, and we incorporate that into the Mishaberach. But today I added to the Mishaberach a prayer for someone. We sang the first 3 stanzas of Shalom Aleichem. And I want us to think about what the Shalom Aleichem means. It's a song, a prayer, about 1,000 years old. And it started in the home, and it gravitated into the shul because people liked it so much. It's a prayer talking to and of angels. And the first word, shalom, is peace to you, O angels. And then the second stanza is boachem, angels come on in. And the third stanza is borchuni, bless me, O angels. And when we sang this, and then I explained it to this person had tears in the eyes. Let's hold on to what it means that we've been singing for 1,000 years, a message that angels are coming into our rooms, whether the rooms are hospital rooms or a kitchen or a synagogue gathering room. And each one of us has the capacity to bring these angels in, and sometimes a need to feel that the angels are blessing each one of us individually. And let's take that message into our hearts and then share it with somebody some other time. It's a message of love and of caring. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShoretz, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedkem l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And once we welcome the angels into our own place, a hospital room, a kitchen, a synagogue gathering room. And once we feel the angel has blessed each one of us, we say, Tzedchem l'shalom, may all of you go. And we are now telling the angels what to do. We have the authority to tell angels what to do, but only if our minds and our hearts are focused on expressions of peace for others. And then the angels leave our room and they go somewhere else because we have offered caring. So now we have two song sheets tonight. The first one begins with Yehi. It's not Miriam's song, it's Yehi Shalom. And this comes to us from Nativ, and I wish to just go over the words a little bit. They're here in the transliteration. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech, comma, may there be peace in your walls, referring to Jerusalem. Shalva is tranquility, Be'armenotayach, within your palaces. It's from the book of Psalms. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech, Shalva Be'armenotayach. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, Armenotayach, but the melody is beautiful. Let's sing along with Nativ.
Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. 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 Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich.
On page 27 in the Siddur, it's Erev Shabbos, but we're also in the middle of the holiday of Pesach. When the holiday of Pesach or the holiday of Sukkot the holiday of Shavuot, Yom Tov, coincide with Erev Shabbat, there's a little bit of a dance going on. Because on the one hand, the Siddur says, pay attention to Shabbos. On the other hand, the Siddur says, pay attention to the Yom Tov because it only comes once a year. So what do? Some of the passages that are associated with Shabbat are eliminated, but the granddaddy, I should say grandmama, or maybe the granddaddy, it depends on how you look at a psalm, the granddaddy or the grandmama of all time, the psalm for Shabbat on page 27 always remains because it's Shabbat, and you could say that a psalm is either a masculine noun or a feminine noun, depends on how you look at the terminology. But that's for another day. So now the Mizmor for Shabbat, and we'll continue on page 27. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatcha balelot, alei asor v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor, mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lodot l'Adonai, Olezamer l'shimcha elyon, Olezamer l'shimcha elyon, ki simachtanenai b'falecha, b'maseh yadecha ranem, magalu masecha Adonai, ma'od amaku machshavo techa, mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, Tov lodot l'Adonai, olezamer l'shimcha elyon, olezamer l'shimcha elyon. On page 28 on the English side. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As a wild bull raises up its horn, you raised my head high, anointed it with fresh oil. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. The last stanza, it's the little red arrow, both on the translit and the Hebrew side. Tzadika tamar yifrach keres balvanon yizke shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenovon beseva tishenim verananim yeyo lehagid ki ashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatabo. We rise now, please, the Borchu on page 39a. Barechu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam voed. And we are seated. The first bracha on the English side, page 39a. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamidim Locha Lein Olam Voed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Havta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadita Al ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shachveinu u'vekumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu v'orech yameinu v'orech yameinu u'vahem nege yomam v'layla V'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 41, Shema and V'ahavta. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam lavanecha v'dibartabam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shachpecha u'v'kumecha u'kishartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'ninecha Oktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. A few moments of silence, perhaps considering a passage on page number 42. Adonai Elohechem emet. And in just a moment, but not yet, the Michamocha. But glance at page 44, which is the Michamocha. And you see at the top of the page on the translation side, the introduction to the Michamocha is that Moses and Miriam led the people singing the Michamocha. They led the people singing an entire long paragraph, which is in the Torah. It's Exodus chapter 15. It's called the Shirah, the great song, Shirat Hayam, the song of the sea. They crossed through the sea, and they sang a song. And the Michamocha comes out of that. So because of that, and because we're inside Pesach tonight, our second song sheet, it's entitled Miriam's Song. This is obviously very well known. This is by Debbie Friedman. I have to tell you a little story. I met Debbie Friedman once. I was in rabbinical school in Los Angeles. And so this would have been about the year 84, 85 in LA. And unfortunately, it was a tragedy. Some years before, she'd become afflicted with some type of a neuromuscular disease. And she began to walk on those metal crutches that reach around the arms, and she was of very diminished motility. Somebody in our school had arranged a concert for the rabbinical students. We were 20 students in a small seminary, and she came into the student lounge, and somebody was helping her because she couldn't carry her own guitar. And so she was walking very slowly with her metal crutches. She came into the student lounge. Somebody helped her with the guitar. She was very stiff. And then she held the guitar and she began to sing. And I did see it with my own eyes. And as she began to sing and play her guitar, she began to move. And her arms and her torso became more limber and more loose. And it truly was that the music and the song was healing her and therapeutic. And she sang a number of her very famous pieces, including this one. And then at the end of the little song session, she handed the guitar back to her helper, and within a number of minutes, she became a bit more, we would say, nearly immobilized, and returned moving very slowly with a very limited gait and posture. And I will always remember that scene because it was the first and only time that I saw her in person. And it's the first time that I heard this song, Miriam's Song. And we need to hear our songs. We need to hear the songs of our women and our men, the ancient singers and the modern singers. Miriam's Song by Debbie Friedman of blessed memory.
She crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. When Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're going to dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long.
Mi chamocha bo'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ratilot osei fele, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeh yam lifnei Moshe, ze'eli anu v'yamru, Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov ugalom yad chazai mimenu baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. On page 45. Tonight we say this prayer, we pray this prayer for all those who can't sleep, for all those who pace, for all those who get up from the bed, and for all those who toss and turn, for all those across the world who are alone, who are afraid, who see only darkness. We say this prayer for people whom we don't know, people we'll never meet. We pray this prayer because everybody's in our hearts this night. Hashkivenu Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem and everyone. Ufro soleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 46, V'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. B'nei B'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai Asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamro v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash v'shamro v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba B'omad yivrachet mechutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imero Amen Yehi shemei Rabba mevar L'olam l'yalmei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yinaseh v'yihadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha b'richu le'la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran b'alma Amen. Before we rise for the silent Amida, on page 47, I reminded you that tonight we're in the holiday of Pesach. We're in the middle of the holiday of Pesach, and therefore some of the prayers are modified a little bit because the holiday only comes once a year. So the Friday Night Amida begins as it normally does on page 47, page 48, and then page 49, talking about the holiness of Shabbat. And then look at page 50. And we have a small print paragraph which is inserted. And the paragraph's name is Ya'aleh V'yavo. If you look at the first few words in Hebrew, it's Eloheinu, Velohei, Avotenu, Ve'imotenu. We couldn't call a prayer the Eloheinu prayer because we have too many prayers that start that way. And we couldn't call it the Va'avotenu or Ve'imotenu. So we look for the first word or two that stands out that's a little bit different. Ya'aleh V'yavo, yeah, we can call it the Ya'aleh V'yavo. So everybody in town knows this is the Ya'aleh V'yavo. Any Jewish country you go to, we know about the Ya'aleh V'yavo. I've always liked Ya'aleh V'yavo because there are 8 strong verbs. Ya'aleh, Yavo, Yagia, Yere'eh, Yeritzeh, Yishama, Yipaked, Yizacher. There's a cadence to it. And if you look at the English, the translation, what we're saying is, may the remembrance of, may the thought about us, may the word, the tiding, the news, the update of each and every one of us ascend upon high and be remembered along with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, the city of Jerusalem, King David, and the Messiah. Each one of us is going to be remembered in the company of our ancestors, of David, of the city of Jerusalem. Each one of us is going to be remembered in association with the Messiah. That's wow. That's Ya'aleh V'yavo. And Ya'aleh V'yavo is recited on Pesach, on Shavuos, on Sukkot, and on Rosh Chodesh, when coinciding with Shabbat. So tonight, in addition to still remembering all the matzah, and the charoses, and the yain, and the moror, and the matzah. Did I say matzah? And the matzah that we've been swimming in for the past few days and will continue to swim in for the next few days. Remember that the milieu of this holiday is one of exaltation of each and every one of us. We are in the company of royalty this evening. We rise, a few moments of silent prayer. The traditional text before us, page 47 to 52, or an opportunity to offer a few private thoughts. on October 14th, we put this chair up here. And on the few occasions that we've moved to the sanctuary, we moved to this chair. But this chair has remained with the tallis, with the list of names. Since Vildachayas masquerading as human beings attacked our innocent ones. For 199 days, Rachel and John Goldberg Pauline did not know if their 24-year-old son was alive. For 199 days, Rachel and John Goldberg Pauline were praying and hoping beyond every energy that any human being or spirit could muster that their son might be alive. And all they had to go on was the courage of parents and the faith within a heart and a refusal to accept that Hamas had destroyed their son. They have 2 daughters. And the day before yesterday, I don't know why, Hamas released a propaganda video that 24-year-old Hirsch Goldberg Pauline is alive as of 2 days ago. He's 24 years old. Family's American. They made Aliyah about 10, 12 years ago. But they speak English the way you and I do. They grew up American, and they wanted to and they needed to make Israel their home. And the whole family moved to Israel. And Hirsch was at the dance festival where 250 people were kidnapped from an outside dance party on Simchas Torah on October 7th. And the family has traveled the world since October 7th, meeting with members of every European parliament, members of the UN, the Pope, the President, senators, congressmen, every human rights agency that they could get access to, every media outlet, so that the entire world would remember Hirsch Goldberg Pauline. And now his voice calls out to us. Literally, his voice calls out to us from what we thought was going to be the grave, and he's now alive. And he's challenging the world. He's challenging the conscience of humanity. He's challenging the politicians. He's challenging the Knesset. He's challenging everyone to bring him home, and we don't exactly know how many others. There are some estimates, 100, 133, according to certain sources of information, how many are alive, how many are dead. Some might be buried and hidden. It depends on which news source you look at. It depends on which information you gain. But hopefully, if we can say hope, in these days, there might still be hope that potentially there are 100 or more hostages still alive. And this is happening on the holiday of Pesach. We usually talk about holiday of Pesach and we say, that's the holiday of our freedom, and we celebrate, and we eat the moror, the bitter herbs, but we mix it with the sweetness of the charoset. And depending upon whether you're a child or you're an adult, you're allowed to add more or less charoses, as the case may be. Some people say you're supposed to almost drown out the moror by extra large amounts of charoses. Others say, no, you're supposed to feel just a little bit of a sip, not too much charoses, mostly moror. It's the holiday, and it's nicknamed the holiday of our freedom. But it occurs to me that all of us, until Moses with God let us out, all of us were hostages. The holiday of Pesach is really the holiday of hostages, being enslaved and abused and oppressed, and nobody knows the outcome for months, in the ancient days, years, centuries, and it was only after centuries that hostages were granted freedom. This year I'm thinking about Pesach differently. It's not only the holiday of freedom, it's the holiday of hostages suffering until somehow freedom is brought to them and they are brought to us. So tonight we have to say a special prayer. And every one of us authors his or her own prayer as we are still dwelling within the holiday of Passover for the hours, days, months yet to be. We have to say a special prayer for Hirsch Goldberg Polin, P-O-L-I-N. That's his name, Hirsch Goldberg Polin. That he come home safe. And that all the other hostages who are alive, please God, may they be many, come home in safety. And those who have been already killed, our families deserve to bring their people home for proper burial. Our families deserve the, if we can say, comfort that closure would bring. Our families deserve that. So as we are still in the center of the holiday of Pesach, the holiday of our freedom, we might rename the holiday of being a hostage and being fortunate enough to be blessed with freedom, but others are not. And we keep people in our prayers. We rise for the Aleinu. The Aleinu is on page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol la'tet gedula le'otzer breishit shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech ma'achei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim yosed haaretz u'moshav yekaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shchinatu zo begavei meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Evezulato Kakatu B'Torato V'yadata Yom V'shevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'shamayim mimal V'al haaretz mitachat enod. Kakatu b'Toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, Yihye Adonai echad, Ushema echad. Please remain standing, the Mourner's Kaddish on page number 58. And we remember all those whose lives were stolen from all of us by the wicked, cruel ones on October 7th. And we also remember our own families and our own loved ones. And here within our community, we mark the following yahrzeits of Esther Rubenstein, Martin Reddish, Martha Maisel, Rebecca Maisel, Gertrude Berry Golden, Sam Stern, Sam Perkoff, Susan Rubinger, Mary Kaminsky Cohen, Rose Ratner, Mendel Koppel, Charles Grodsky, Lou Friedman, Harriet Sheridan, remembering Charlie Summers and Brent Mitchell. Are there any other names to mention this evening? Perhaps those at home have a name to share. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, amen. Be'olma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chaye chon u'v'yom echon u'v'chaye dachol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zaman kariv v'meru, amen. Yehei shemei rabba mivarach la'olam ula'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barich hu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru, amen. May we be agents of shalom. And we are seated. Turn to page 63 for just one moment before we conclude with the Adon Olam. As we move from Pesach towards the holiday of Shavuos, we count the Omer. Last night was the third of the Omer. We don't say the Brachata until it's dark. We need to make sure that we're the next day in the Hebrew calendar, which is at nightfall. So today's the third day of the Omer, which means that in 46 days and some hours, we're going to be standing at Mount Sinai. Isn't that a grand experience? Can't wait. Today's the third day of the Omer. Jewish people count up. We don't count down. We ascend. It's like Ya'alev Yavo. We want to move up. We want to move forward. Adon Olam is on page 211. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'et nasa v'chevtza kol azay melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hove v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echad v'yein sheni l'hamshil lo lehachbira b'li reshit b'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'ha'misra v'hu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzur chevli be'eit tzara v'hu nisi u'manosli manat kosi b'yom ekra b'yado avkid ruchi b'eit ishan v'a'ira v'im ruchi g'biyati Adonai li v'lo ira Adonai lama asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'et nasa v'chevtza kol azay melech shemo nikra. Happy Pesach and good Shabbos. Bruchat Ziyeh. Chag Sameach, good Shabbos, happy Pesach. We can't wait to see you hopefully soon. May God bless you, and please know that you are loved. You're important to us. We wish you shalom. Good Shabbos. Bye.